Hey, what's going on, crypto people? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Maybe I should say happy Saturday. Yay. Look, my goodness gracious, a little change of scenery. Oh my gosh. Please don't tell me the Wi-Fi is going to mess up. What's going on, crypto fam? Look, my bullish case for Bitcoin over XRP. We're going to get into it. I said I was going to do a video, live stream about Bitcoin. And look, it's important, something to ponder, something to consider for sure. We're going to get into it. Happy Saturday again. I know it's pretty awesome outside right now. If it's nice here in Tejas, it's got to be nice elsewhere for sure. Because we get that heat, we get that summer heat big time. So yeah, we're gonna get into. We're gonna share some stuff from Gary Cardone. We're gonna share some stuff with Robert Kiyosaki. We're gonna share some stuff from a guy named Miles Dutcher, and maybe it's Miles Dutcher. I don't know. And a guy named Fred Krueger, successful business person out there in the real world, 10 exits, successful 10 exits, and a mathematician. We're going to hear from him as well and his model that he calls the power law. It's interesting stuff. We're going to jump into the cryptoverse and we're going to put the numbers in again that proves out the strategy, proves out my Bitcoin over XRP and altcoins in a dollar cost average strategy as well. Yeah, I'm going to share that as well. And I'm sure a little bit about our XRP journey a little bit also, but I really want to make the point that it's just been gnawing at me and gnawing at me and gnawing at me. This whole idea of what's going on with the alts, what's going on with the altcoins. And why does it always seem like we are beholden to the market? What's going on there? Miles had a very, very interesting thought on that, interesting perspective on it, and it makes a lot of sense. But it's not the whole story. It's not the whole story, and we're going to get into what's the whole story. What's the complete story of it all. We're going to get into that for sure. What's going on, Corey Anderson? How are you, bro? My friend, how are you doing? Joe heard this. Hey, Joe, how are you? Look, the market is doing what it does. We don't need to go over the numbers. I bet you Bitcoin's around 64,000. Ethereum's around 3,500. XRP's around 50 cents. I bet you. I'm doing great, Joe. I'm doing great. Thank you. Pookie's in the building. How are you? Blue Rangers are here. Yeah, my bullish case for Bitcoin over XRP and all the other altcoins. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Share some stuff. Now, it's not just about over XRP. It's about the digital asset space as a whole. And just finished up my gym session, says Pookie. I love it. And what's going on with the alt season? So it's all the alts. I'm going to ask you guys to think about something. And for me, it's the $64 trillion question. I'm going to get that question out to you guys as well. Oh, Corey Anderson just registered a limited company name, CryptoBank NZ. Nice. Nice. Congrats, my friend. Congrats. So look, this market is crazy. How many feel like the alts are just not doing this thing? We can't seem to get anything done in the altcoin season. Yeah. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Wow. This?
No. You don't stop. Explode.
Oh, mine? It's nothing in there.
You want to close it?
Nothing in there. All right. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. All right. I'm back. Technical difficulties. What? Called Mrs. Crypto Seed. Yeah. So listen. So what's going on with the alt season? Why is there no alt run? What's going on? At first I kind of likened it to like these market forces outside of digital, the digital asset space has to happen for this altcoin season to come together, right? So initially that was my initial thought, right? We got to get this right. You got to get this right. You got to get right. We got to get the NASDAQ. We got to get stock market. We got to have some QE. The Fed's got to do something to the interest rate. All these different things that seems like they correlated to the alt season, and maybe they still do. But I want to share a little thread, and I'm going to share his video as well, on something that Miles came up with that I think is important to add to this scenario. I think it's really, really important to add to this scenario. And because my thing is, how long can people be beholden to the outside forces that kind of determine the alt season? What other market force might affect alt season that just doesn't seem to affect Bitcoin? See if I can find this thread from Miles. Is this the thread? Here it is right here. A major fundamental flaw in crypto is starting to emerge. It's the number one reason, says Miles, why altcoins are underperforming this cycle. And currently, there seems to be no fix. I just dug through all the data, and what I found was shocking. How altcoin dispersion is killing crypto. The objective of the thread is to give you more insight into crypto's biggest issue. It would explain exactly how we got here, why prices are behaving the way they are, and the path forward. Let me take you back to 2021. The market was in a frenzy. New liquidity was rapidly pouring into the market, mainly being driven by fresh retail. The bull market seemed unstoppable and risk appetite was at its highest. He's on, is it Artemis app here with this chart? But anyway, during this time, VCs started pouring unprecedented amounts of capital into the space. Founders and VCs are just like retail. They're opportunists. The uptick in investment was a natural capitalistic response to market conditions. For those who don't understand private markets, put simply, a VC will invest capital into a project at an early stage, typically 6 months to 2 years prior to its launch, at a typically lower valuation with the vesting attached to it, right? With vesting attached, right? This investment helps funds the project with capital to develop, with VCs often providing other services, connections to help get a project off the ground, etc. Interestingly, the largest quarter ever for VC funding, which was $12 billion, was Q1 of 2022. VC money. This marked the beginning of the year. Yes, this VCs timed the top. Yeah, Q1 of 2022. All right. But remember, VCs are only investors. Increased deal count volume also comes from an increase in the amount of projects being created. And that's an important note. The increase in the amount of projects being created. The low barriers to entry combined with the high upside crypto presented in the bull market made Web3 a breeding ground for new startups. New tokens were popping up left, right, and center, resulting in the total crypto token count tripling just from 2021 to 2022. But shortly after that, the party stopped. A cascade of contagions, starting with Luna and ending with FTX, completely decimated the market. So what did the projects do during this time, 2021 to 2022? What did the projects do that raised all that money early in the year? They delayed and they delayed and they delayed. Launching a project in the midst of a bear market is a death sentence. Low liquidity, bad sentiment, lack of interest means many new bear market launches were dead on arrival. So founders decided to wait for a reversal. It took a while, but eventually in Q4 of 2023, they got it. Remember, the biggest spike in VC funding was Q1 of 2022, 18 months prior. After months and months of delaying, they could finally launch the tokens in better conditions. So they did. Started with one and another and another and another. And it wasn't just old projects deciding to launch. Many new players saw the new bullish conditions as an opportunity to launch a project and make a quick buck. Think of a lot of the meme coins. As a result, 2024 has seen so the VCs aren't investing in meme coin projects, right? So we got all that VC money, 12 billion, and then you got the quick buck thing coming with all the meme coins. So you got a bunch of new stuff. And what I like to say, trying to grab attention of a small group of people, right? So, and it wasn't just the old projects deciding to launch. Many new players saw the new bullish conditions as an opportunity to launch a project and make a quick buck. As a result, 2024 has seen a historic number of new launches. Here's the stats, and they're crazy. Over 1 million new crypto tokens have launched since April alone, half of those are meme coins created on the Solana network. Half of them. So 500,000 meme coin projects coming and going, whatever. Some stand, coming and going. And then you still got 500,000 other new projects. You could argue that these numbers are inflated by the ease of deploying a meme on chain, and that's true, yes, but it's still an insane figure. For a more accurate number, see the image from CoinGecko, which excludes many of the smaller memes. 2021, 444,000 new crypto tokens, total crypto tokens, 443,000. 2022, 1,149,000. 2023, 1,989,000. 2024, 2.5 million. 2.5 million tokens. This is a big problem, and it's one of the major reasons why crypto has been struggling this year, despite Bitcoin hitting new highs. So I just want to make a note of that. All this stuff is going on with all these new tokens, and Bitcoin is still making all new time highs. The more tokens that launch, the more cumulative supply pressure on the market. And this supply pressure stacks, I say compounds. Many projects from 2021 are still unlocking, with supply stacking across every subsequent year, 2022, 2023, and 2024. If you want to check the unlocks, you can at token.unlocks, plural.app. You can check it out. Current estimates suggest that there's around 150 million to 200 million of new supply pressure per day. This constant sell pressure takes a huge toll on the market. Think of token dilution as inflation. Think of token dilution as inflation. If the government prints dollars, this in turn reduces the dollar's purchasing power relative to the cost of the goods and services. It's the exact same thing in crypto. If you print more tokens, this in turn reduces crypto's purchasing power relative to other currencies like USD. Altcoin dispersion is basically crypto's version of inflation. And it's not only the volume of tokens launching that is a problem. The low FDV, fully diluted val, slant high float mechanics of many of these new launches is a big issue. It leads to a high degree of dispersion, and B, constant supply pressure. Projects launching with vesting periods for a year or 2 years. So if they launch in 2020, vesting periods 2021, what about the projects that launch in 2021 with the vesting period of 6 months or a year? They're launching in 2022, which is adding to the ones that that launched in 2020. So you get the launches and you get the token vesting periods coming. They're all compounding on one another. They're stacking upon each other. Constant selling or supply pressure. All of these launches and supply would be fine and dandy if new liquidity was entering the market. This is what Raoul Pal keeps talking about, the new net liquidity coming into the market. In 2021, there were hundreds of new launches per day and everything was up only. However, it's not. So we find ourselves in the situation of not enough not enough new liquidity entering the market, and B, an insane amount of dilution / sell pressure from unlocks. It's a good point here. It's a good point. Now that you know what the issue is, let's discuss the question at hand. How can things turn around? I haven't read this yet. My belief is if we're going to be in altcoins, we're not going to do what Raoul Pal did, first of all. As retail investors, we're not going to do what Raoul Pal did. We're just not going to do what he did. This dude is a macro trader with 30 years of experience. Got the Bitcoin. He did it right. He 10 or so X'd. He got the Ethereum timing right because he's a macro trader. Did it right. Made gobs of money. It's his words. His words, not mine. Made gobs of money. He put all of that money into Solana. He timed that right. And rode it all the way up and is still holding. Now, how many of you are going to do that? How many have the resources and the skills and the access that Raoul Pal has to make that? I mean, literally, Bitcoin, 10x sold, it got into Ethereum, boom, gobs of money, sold, moved it all into Solana, wrote it up. How many of we got the skills and the resources and the access to do that? Most of us don't, right? So my thing is, the only thing that we really can do is play the narratives. Play the narratives in the market because the narratives seem to be moving despite this whole thread of stuff that I read. The challenge is, are you going to be able to pick the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, or 5 in each of those narratives to win? Right? I share with you guys that we were fortunate enough. We picked 2 in the RWA narrative that won, right? And or winning, right? But it's more than 2. It's really 3, almost 4 in the RWA thing. So my thing is probably going to have to detect those narratives. And the narratives right now that are winning is number 1 are memes, and number 2 are RWA plays, especially the RWA plays where the retail can not only just get the token, but actually also get access to the security, the tokenized asset on the platform as well. The other one is AI. And I don't know where DPEN sits in terms of the top 3 to 5. I don't know where DPEN fits, but you can find a chart and it'll tell you what are the you probably even Google it. What are the top narratives in crypto right now in terms of market cap and in terms of total value locked or something like that, in terms of liquidity? And you'll see that meme coins at 1 and in RWAs are 2. Right. So that would be my thing, that play. And that's what I decided to do, about a year ago. It's just play the narratives as opposed to whatever. Now, I got one narrative wrong. I thought that decentralized social was going to, but the time is not right. It's not picking up. It's not picking up steam. All right. So, all right, where are we at? All right, got that. Firstly, I must emphasize the need for more liquid funds in crypto. There are comparatively too many VCs. The skew towards private market is one of the biggest and most damaging issues in crypto, especially compared to other markets like equities and real estate. The skew becomes an issue because retail feel like they can't win. And if they feel like they can't win, they won't play the game. Why do you think memes have dominated this year? It's the only matter where retail feels like they have a fighting chance. With price discovery for many of these high FDV coins happening in private markets, retail doesn't have a shot at a 10x, 20x, or 50x like the VCs. In 2021, you could ape a Launchpad token and generally hit a 100x. Let's see if there's anything more here. And that makes a lot of sense, is what he's saying there. But that's not the whole story. This cycle, tokens launch at 5 billion, 10 billion, 20 billion plus, and leave no room for price discovery in the open market. And then they bleed as their unlocks start to hit the market. I don't have all the answers to this problem. It's a complex issue, and there are many players who could make a difference. Here's a few ideas, right? So there's some stuff there. I mean, we don't need to go over that, but that's a good thread. Highly recommend you guys check it out. If you want that link to it, let me know and I'll leave it. Remember how I noted that this was despite Bitcoin. This is a big problem, despite Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs. In other words, Bitcoin is doing its thing regardless of market forces outside of crypto and inside of crypto. And inside of crypto. Let me get into the chat, and then I'm going to continue with my case for Bitcoin. And while we started talking about, you guys probably remember, we started talking about, we were moving to the DCA strategy. Bitcoin, Ethereum, MakerDAO. It was four of them: Bitcoin, Ethereum, MakerDAO, and Solana. Right? Not financial advice, just something that we were going to do, right? So let me get to the chat. See what you guys think so far. What's going on, Michael Marchese? How are you, bro? Small business doctors in the building. Javel Corporation says, holy smoke, Shimoli. Yeah. Holy Shimokaronis, right? So what else is going on? Corey Anderson, XRP. What's up, Siege? Small business doctor. Super Trump meme coin. I'm saving my XRP for my crypto bank. Now I just need to get a node. Yeah, I hear you, my friend. What's going on, Michael Marchese? Yo, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hey, you slapped me yesterday with the statement, altcoins exist to buy more Bitcoin. I have to rethink my moves. I hear you, my guy, right? And that's what it's all about. It's about pondering. It's about some food for thought, right? Something to consider and ponder, see if there's some things that need to be done, because the numbers are going to, I'm going to show you the numbers in the DCA strategy, and the numbers are numbers. You can't argue with the numbers. DJ, happy Saturday, Steve. Happy Saturday, my friend. How are you? So let me share some Bitcoin stuff with you. And I want you to think about this while you listen to these videos. They said, tell me about the hugely successful person outside of crypto coming into crypto. I don't know, hugely successful like a Raul Paul, hugely successful like a Gary Cardone, 10 to 15 million net worth, hugely successful like a Robert Kiyosaki. that came into crypto and said, Bitcoin is too slow and it's too expensive. It's inferior technology. Yeah, think about that when you listen to those videos. Right? Tell me about that. Who's a successful person that came in and they got crypto and they said, well, Bitcoin's too expensive. It's too slow, right? Too slow and it's too expensive. Right? All right. So where do I want to start with these videos? Is it this one? Let's see. I'm going to share this with you guys. And then I'm going to tell you my XRP story. Let's see. Let's take a quick little 3-4 minutes here to listen to Gary Cardone. Twin brother of Grant Cardone.
Gary Cardone joining us today to share some rather interesting alpha on the Bitcoin crypto market. He is a lifelong entrepreneur, founder of Cardone Digital Ventures into Bitcoin, blockchain, AI. Well, first of all, Gary, how are you doing today?
Good, man. I'm doing awesome. If you're not doing awesome this week in Bitcoin, there's something wrong. You need to go see your psychologist. Get a little retrain.
Exactly. I was surprised in the past year or so seeing you come out such a Bitcoin bull. Is that a fair way to describe you? It seems like you're really into it.
Well, when I come out of the closet, I do come out. I mean, I just come on all the way out. But I study something really, really. I mean, you didn't see the student in me for the prior 3 years, but yes, I have absolutely come out probably a little bit over a year. And really have come out of the closet. Think this might be the most awesome investment opportunity I've ever seen in my life by many, many factors. And I've been blessed to see like 4 monster waves. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. I've come out very, very bullish with my pocketbook, not just theoretical exercise, by the way.
So please, break down your Bitcoin investment thesis simply for us. Like, obviously you and me are both believers, but, for the folks at home on the fence, not really sure, like, really Bitcoin? Like, what is your investment thesis?
Well, I think you're the perfect guy to ask that question. You're an identical twin, correct?
Correct.
And you know better than anybody here other than you and I that you are no more like your brother than I am like my brother, that I am so unique, so finite, and humanity doesn't even know how to treat that. Over the history of thousands of years, what do we do to people that have differences than we do? We make them wrong. So if we can't even value finite in human creature creative terms, I'm quite certain that we are grossly incapable of placing a financial dollar number that replicates the value of something that is truly finite and that cannot be artificially increased in the volume of the production of that product. So this is why I think everything ends up being sucked into Bitcoin, because finite, there isn't any other finite. No oil, no gas, no natural gas, no gasoline, no diesel, no nuclear weapons, land, concrete, everything can be built infinitely if you have enough money and energy, and that cannot happen in Bitcoin. And that changes everything. These power models that everybody's talking about, I got it. You went to Stanford and Harvard, ain't never modeled this. Never. There is not a model for this. So power to the law of 6 billion, I think, is more to the 21 million is going to be. That's what's got me so interested, because my first background was in the most important commodities on the planet outside of food, which is oil and natural gas and electricity. And anytime the price goes over $100, man, oil just floods the market. Natural gas goes to $3, natural gas floods the market. So we're going to see what Bitcoin, we're going to see what finite really looks like, and it's going to show up in the value that's placed on just that one characteristic of Bitcoin.
And I think that's a point. It's a huge point. What he's saying is it doesn't matter what it is. When an asset, a commodity, whatever raises in value, more of it comes to the market. Right? Doesn't matter. When right, we seem to just keep being, as much as they keep saying gold is scarce, we just keep finding more. Right? So my oil, gets to a certain price, more seems to come to the market. Or, just pick a thing, and there's a constant supply. And there's always a way, because of advancing technology, et cetera, to find a way to put more into the market. And his thought is that Bitcoin is finite. In the book that I'm reading, the Bitcoin Standard, they say the same thing. They talk about scarcity. And they talk about, I think he called it sound scarcity as well. But let's continue.
Which I maintain it has 13 characteristics that are really, really important to me. But the finite, the characteristic of Bitcoin is by far, if that were the only reason for me to invest in Bitcoin, it would be far enough.
So Bitcoin just fundamentally so different, so game changing, you're bullish. But then in this like macro backdrop, do you think this is still Bitcoin's time, or how do you see, Bitcoin is so unique, but at this time in the world, how do you think about it?
I mean, dude, this is a 15-year-old. I like to keep things really simple. This is the only 15-year-old I know. NVIDIA is a $2.3 trillion market cap company. I don't know what its earnings are going to report tonight. It's been in the making for 25 years. It makes machines. It is most definitely not a finite resource. Bitcoin, its time has come to be on the world stage. I don't know any other 15-year-olds that have been invited into every private country club on planet Earth. Bitcoin has a membership forever now into every country club. 994 of the largest companies in the world just dropped 100 million each. 100 million.
100 million each. I'm sure the school coin stat, just to kind of give you an example. He mentions something like this as well. But 100 million each from 994 of the largest spots in the world. This came out the other day from Coin Stats. It's an interesting thing here. Pine Ridge Advisors, a New York-based registered investment advisor, ARIA, has allocated a substantial $205 million across various spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, 205 million, okay, cool. That's a big number. It's more than 100 million that he just mentioned. But the difference with this particular allocation is it's 23% of their assets under management. The above mentioned allocation represents approximately 23% of Pine Ridge Advisors' total assets under management. That is holy smoke. Now, what's the one here? Do I want to play this one? Do I want to play the one? This is Robert Kiyosaki. I'm trying to say if I want to play this one or by the one by Vlad. I'm going to play the one with Vlad interviewing him last. Just take a listen to Robert Kiyosaki, famous author, hugely successful business person, made his wealth from real estate and investing in gold and silver. Then he eventually went to gold mines, and eventually got to oil, and they went and did the oil mining rigs and all that stuff. Just massively successful. Just had a recent divorce, sadly enough. But take a listen here. We all know him from Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Cash flow quadrant.
Some of the economists around the world, some of your good friends, they keep on saying we're going to wake up one day and Bitcoin's just disappeared. And of course, we're going 15 years with Bitcoin now. It's had so many people say it's going to die, it can't work, it can't keep going. And then all of a sudden, up it goes, it's stronger. And we're seeing what's happening right now. It's gone nuts. It just keeps on going up. What was your aha moment to say, I'm going to be involved in Bitcoin? And when did that happen?
Mine is not like YouTube, on my phone. I'm glued to YouTube. And there's certain people who I consider experts in their fields. So one's this guy named Raoul Pal, he worked for Goldman Sachs. And a guy knows money. And I listened to his analysis of Bitcoin. And at that time it was 6,000 a coin. So I backed up the truck and I bought 30 of them, just trusting him. Of course, I wish I'd bought more. So what I do now is I buy once a month Bitcoin. I just keep adding to it because again, Bitcoin is designed to go up in purchasing power. The dollar, the fiat dollar, designed to come down. Taxation.
That was an interesting thing to hear him say that because he also kind of added to what I have been saying. We've been talking about for the last, 4 months or so. I remember Tap the Line came on the stream and we talked about the dollar cost average strategy. And it's interesting to say that it's interesting to see that this dude, hugely successful, actually dollar cost averages into Bitcoin to this day at his age and with his success. He's doing that. Keyless checked in. What's going on, Keyless? The lady of crypto is in the building. How are you, miss? GDLT is here. What's going on, bro? My bullish case for Bitcoin over XRP. Michael McCasey says, Bitcoin is more reliable than wire system, and it is outside of that system. To me, there is value in that. Yeah, and I think about the great taking. Lynette Zhang has this saying on her channel. We've been talking about the great taking. I hope you guys download that PDF, the free PDF. Lynette Zhang says this all the time on her channel from formerly of ITM Trading. She's no longer there. She's doing her own thing now, and good for her. Lynette Zhang. She says, if you do not hold it, you do not own it. In crypto, we say not your keys, not your crypto, right? If you don't hold it, you don't own it. There's some people right now with some, by the way, Robert Kiyosaki in that video says he doesn't own bonds. He doesn't own stocks. He doesn't own stuff that he can't hold. It's interesting to me. So none of that, like the mines, right? You can go down to the mine that he's built, that he's invested in, whether it be a gold and oil or whatever. You can go down there, right, and see it, right? He owns it, as opposed to stock or mutual fund that is, by the way, papered and papered and papered and papered. And actually, we learned from the great taking, is all put into this pool of collateral that securities lawyers and financial RIAs have no idea where it actually lies or sits. Actually lies or sits. So, hold on. So, go ahead. Now we got Little Miss Crypto C's causing technical difficulties. What's going on? What's going on right now? Bye. So that's something, that's a little side note. That's a little side note, but I thought that was interesting that a guy with his success at this moment in time in life, I don't know why I got 60,000. But anyway, think about what he did and think about where he is and what he did. 6,000 bought some BTC. Yeah. Anyway, And it's still dollar cost averaging into the BTC. Anyway. That's right, Keyless. People that trusted their mattresses more than the banks were smarter than we thought. LOL. Indeed. How are you enjoying that? Are you reading that, or was it Miss Taylor? Are you reading The Great Taking, Keyless? But is that interesting from Robert Kiyosaki? Let's continue on. Because I got I got a question. I asked that question. Tell me about the hugely successful person that from outside of crypto was hugely successful, came into crypto and said to you, Bitcoin is too slow and inexpensive and too slow and too expensive. The technology don't work. Raul Paul didn't say that. Gary Cardone didn't say that. Dan Tapiro didn't say that. Robert Kiyosaki didn't say that. All right, let me see. Let me find the next video. I want to go to the mathematician first. Let's see. This guy, Fred Krueger's interesting story. And before I go to Fred, let me go over here. And this is Jesper slowly in between my several jobs and life stuff, etc. Gotcha. I'm glad you got it. So this is another thing from Robert Kiyosaki. It's an interesting story. He's being interviewed by Vlad from DJ Vlad YouTube channel, which has 5 million subscribers. And he's interviewing Robert Kiyosaki. And Robert Kiyosaki is going to tell him a story. Interesting story here. Because they were going back and forth about what Warren Buffett was saying about Bitcoin. And I'm using this to make a point about what are we doing in the digital asset space.
Sunday school, I was like 8 or 9 years old, and the Sunday school was a young. When I was in Sunday school, I was like 8 or 9 years old, and the Sunday school was a young teacher in Hawaii, and she said, "Why were the 3 wise men wise?" And I said, I raised my hand. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I said, "Because they were rich." And she goes, "Why do you say that?" Because in church, love of money is the root of all evil. So she said, "Why do you say they're rich?" I said, "Because they're rich." And she goes, "Why?" So they had gold, frankincense, and myrrh. You got to be rich to have that stuff. And she shakes her head because this violates every one of her Christian values about the love of money is the root of all evil, right? She says, "No, they weren't. That wasn't why they were rich. That's why they weren't wise." I said, "So tell me why." So one of the most valuable lessons my little Sunday school teacher taught me. She says, "Because they always sought the best teacher." And for them, it was Christ.
They always sought the best teacher, and for them it was Christ. And so to put a spin on that question, the question was, tell me about that hugely successful person outside of crypto that came into crypto and said, this Bitcoin is too expensive, it's too slow, and it don't work. Right? Those 3 people that I mentioned, none of them came in from being hugely successful and came into crypto and said that. They did the exact opposite, and they got into Bitcoin. Raul Paul, Robert Kiyosaki, right? Gary Cardone, just to name a few, right? Just to name a few. The other part of that question, who is telling you to not buy Bitcoin because it's too expensive, it's too slow, and the technology doesn't work? Like, who's telling you that? What does their net worth look like? Right? What does their net worth like? Right? Who are your teachers? Who are your teachers? I mean, there's the thousandaires, and then there's the multimillionaires. And what are the multimillionaires doing? So who are your teachers? I'm going to get to XRP here in a second, but I want you to listen to this guy, Fred Krueger. This Fred Krueger here, he came up with something called the power law for most of us are familiar with Plan B and the that model there for Bitcoin and the projection for where Bitcoin is going to be. I forget the guy who created it. Paul is an entrepreneur, investor, and he's major mathematician. Fred is a Bitcoiner who has been exploding in popularity this year. Fred not only worked on Wall Street, very, very similar to Raoul Pal, for almost a decade, but he is also a very successful entrepreneur. He has built and exited 10 different companies, with some of those exits being in the tens of millions of dollars. Now, I would highly recommend you go to his YouTube channel and watch his videos for sure. But the interviewer person asked him, what is the average retail investor to do today? You know, Bitcoin's around 63, 64, 65. This is aired June 8th or uploaded June 8th. And listen to what he says. Again, I just told you about his background. He's got this motto. It's called the Power Law. You should definitely check it out. I'll show you some stuff from his thing. Well, let me show you that first. Here's one thing I think is interesting. I won't show that one yet, but it says here, reminder, Bitcoin prices averaged over the last 4 years go up very consistently with no deviation. Hard to convey this reality to TradFi investors. Log of time since its genesis. And I mean, we've all heard Raoul Pal say that it's in the millions of percentage gain, millions of percentage. I forget what he said. I don't know if it's 58 million or is it 5.8 million percent, some crazy number. But this is what he's telling, you know, kind of like the repo person or maybe even that young person starting in 25, 30 years old, you know, his recommendation for having some success in the digital asset space. This is what he says.
It's going to cost you something to live. And, you know, it's really how much cost do you want in your life versus how much savings do you want to do? I would recommend people save more, and I would recommend that they save in Bitcoin. I think that you're going to be better off saving in Bitcoin. Any analysis you do, you're going to be better off saving in Bitcoin as opposed to saving in your house.
Right. So that's some food for thought, something to think about, something to consider. We can do the numbers, right? We can go to a chart and just do a little DCA scenario. But let me make sure, right? Let me get to the chat. We're going to do a little DCA scenario because, you know, people can talk. I mean, I get it. He's hugely successful. I mean, 10 different companies built and several of them with exits of tens of millions. I mean, okay. And he's just got this, you know, PhD and RHA and ABC and mathematics. He's a mathematician. Okay, cool. But he's a dude talking just like Gary Cardone. It's a dude talking, right? You might say that. He's just a dude talking. You might say that Robert Kiyosaki is just a dude talking. Right? You could say that. You could make that. I mean, those are just dudes talking. Right? So I'm going to show you a little DCA thing, little DCA strategy. Right? We talked about that. He just said, he's talking to just a regular person living their everyday life. If I was you, this is not financial advice. I'm sure he's not making any either. If I was you, I would save, and I would save in Bitcoin. It's exactly, oddly enough, it's not odd that is exactly what a hugely successful person is doing. And Robert Kiyosaki. Isn't that odd? So I put this numbers again. You guys probably remember when I did the video, I put these numbers in. This is a DCA strategy, Bitcoin DCA simulation. You plug some numbers in, you can put a dollar amount. I put $100 of Bitcoin. Repeat it monthly, once a month on the 1st. Right? I did the little thing there, and then I put some other assets to compare it to see how they would do in a certain time frame. And we're going to change the time frame. But I did it from March of 2020 to April of 2024. So April, a couple months ago, right? And just look at those numbers. By the time you're done doing $100 a month, you would have invested $5,000, and you would have been buying, saving every single month, investing, saving to invest every single month. That's this time period is just 50 months. And if you've done that, you would have got 0.22 of Bitcoin, $100 a month for 50 months. So the number, apparently, it's this historical number that every person should get to, supposedly, is 0.1. Interestingly enough, $5,000 total in 50 months, right? And your value in Bitcoin would be $15,244, 204% gain. Right? And this is just this time frame, and we can look to see if other assets have outperformed that. And again, this is why I mentioned Raoul Pal, because are you and am I going to pick the assets that do outperform in a specific time frame? Now, we'll go here. We're going to look at some stuff. Solana, you know, that layer one that Raoul Pal happened to pick just perfectly with all his tools and resources and his access. And what I mean by access, he was meeting with Anatoly. He was meeting with the team from Solana because he has access. He's a global macro trader, which makes up all kinds of charts. He writes and has been writing a financial newsletter for decades. He knows all the big wigs. He can check charts and he can make that pick. He can make the pick of Bitcoin and get it just about right for 10x. He could take that and put it into Ethereum at just the right time and make what he called gobs of money. He could take that and then pick the right one in Solana and get that right. But can you? So a little DCA here. We put Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Maker on here. Here's the numbers from that time frame. And we're going to do another time frame. Solana outperformed Bitcoin. It did 2,748%. Would you have picked Bitcoin? Here's a better question. Did you pick Bitcoin? I mean, Solana, rather. Did you pick Solana? Did you get it right? You know what I remember hearing him say months and months and months ago about Solana? This is what he said. He said, all of these, this is when it was $6, $8, some kind of thing, maybe $10. Maybe it was even $20, can't remember. He kept saying, this is Raoul Pal, you know, all this noise about meme coins on Solana, and that's the only thing on Solana. All that noise about It's gone down and has been down. He said it's all noise. He said it was all noise. And unfortunately, there's not the access that I have. And again, I don't remember if it was $6, $8, it might have been $10, something like that. And I remember thinking, I just kind of remember thinking, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I didn't get in at 6, 8, 10. It was more like 20, might have been even 30. But it wasn't 6. It wasn't 8, 5, 6. Nope. I remember when they were at those numbers. We were all here. We were all here at Solana at $4 and $6 and $2. Weren't we? Were we not all here? We were. So it outperformed Bitcoin, 2748%. Nearly what, 27x. Ethereum in this time frame from March of 2020 to April of 2024, 338%, which is better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin did 204% in that time frame of 50 months. Maker did 186% in that time frame, 50 months. XRP did 21% in that time frame. Well, you're saying, oh, you picked the time frame that's more beneficial to Solana. I mean, you picked it just about the time Solana was just launching. It's a new thing or whatever, right? I mean, that's fair. But anybody could have not have to try to pick a winning layer one without access and resources and charts and 30 years experience as a trader. Anyone could have DCA'd into Bitcoin. Anyone. I get it. I didn't pick Solana as $4, $6, $8, but we all could have DCA'd Bitcoin for 50 months. We've all been in this space longer than 50 months, see or no? Let's add some different numbers in here. I'm going to do November of 2022 to today. Let's see what a DCA thing looks like then. And I'm going to take out some stuff here, but let's do that. Let's see if I can't change this without messing it up. 2022. Okay. Got that part right. How do we change the freaking month? Oh. Okay. There it is. There it is. All right, let's go November. Because that's what the Miles Dutra talked about, right? November 2022 kind of topped. November 2022, and let's go to this is June. Let's go to, I guess we'll do May 30th. March 1st, May 30th. All right, let's see. May. Let's go 30th. Let's do that part first. And let's go May 31st. That's only 27 months. It's a smaller thing, but we got to kind of go back to when kind of the 2021 thing kind of ended or whatever. So it's basically, is that November? That's not November. Hold on a second. I thought I picked November. What's going on? October, November. Okay. Why is that not changing? Do I need to pick a date? All right, let's do 22nd. No, we want November 1st. What, November 1st? And we want, why is it not staying? I don't know. Do I need to hit November? Let's see. November 2020. I don't know why this is not changing. That's very odd. It won't let me change it to November. It keeps staying on March. Why? November 1st. Oh, there it is. November 1st. It's only 27 months. It's not, this says only 19 months. Not that long of a time frame. And let's do this. Let me ask you guys a question. Well, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to ask you the question. Solana outperformed Bitcoin 512%. Maker outperformed Bitcoin 163%. Bitcoin did 131%. Ethereum was only 100%, and XRP was 4%. All of these are DCAing $100 each month. Doesn't it feel like Bitcoin is just asset appreciation and a good balance between risk reward? Okay, it's not 500%, but every time we do a model, it's 100 and something percent. Unless we're going to pick Solana like Raoul Pal did. Unless we're going to pick Solana like Raoul Pal did. So let's get to the chat. I'm going to ask you guys to give me an asset. Let's get to the chat. Give me an asset that you picked. Tiller says correct. How are you, Tiller? Give me an asset that you picked that I'm going to pick up. I don't know. What's a modest keyless? Give me a modest anyone over a period of 18 months can invest in an asset. Give me a number that the average person over a period of 18 months can invest in, where their total and that total amount after 18 months that you think, I mean, you think that even a kid mowing the lawn in 18 months can get to this amount. Even someone working as a bank teller, right? So give me an amount that you think that's a comfortable amount. I don't want to pick too high of an amount because maybe everyone can't get to that amount. Here's the question I'm going to ask. Give me an asset. We're going to put it in that thing there that you have at least invested in $400. I'm just going to pick 400. You've at least invested $400 in, and you've held it for 18 months or longer. Was it an RWA play that's been around for 18 months or longer? Was it an AI play? Was it a meme coin? Well, we won't do meme coins. We won't do meme coins. Tell me about a play that you picked. You put at least $400 in. You put at least $400 in. So I already did XRP, Corey. So we already know the numbers. XRP was the highest number for XRP. Dollar cost average was 21%. Keela says she did Matic. Matic had a massive gain. We won on the Matic. We won on the Matic. So let me see that. Anyone else have one? Anyone else have a token? And we're going to check the DCA strategy, and we're going to give it, what's a good number? 18 months, 24 months, something like that, and see how it compared. I'm curious, GDLT and D. Dre, Michael Marchese, small business doctors. Did you guys pick Matic? Did you guys happen to pick Matic? I picked Matic. All right, she says Gala. All right, so let's look. I'm going to try to pick a healthy time frame. And let's take a gander. All right, so we're going to get rid of Ethereum. We'll get rid of Ethereum. Let's put Matic in here. Matic did some stuff. Did that work? Yeah, Matic. Okay. November. Which one do we want to time frame do we want to pick? We want to stick with this one. Let's stick with this one. I think that's fair. And maybe we'll go to 2021. But let's do this one. See what we got. Just in that time frame, 19 months. Solana, 512%. Maker, 163%. Matic was minus 14.7% in a DCA strategy. $100 every single month for 19 months. Let's change the time frame and we'll go a year back till this whatever. 2022. Let's go 2021. Let's take a gander and see what's good now. So that would be 31 months DCA strategy into Matic. Matic is minus 21% in a DCA strategy. XRP is at 1%. Bitcoin is at 125%. It's interesting to me that we keep seeing Maker in the triple digits on the DCA strategy. It's interesting to me we keep seeing Maker in the DCA strategy at triple digits and actually higher than BTC. That's interesting to me, Keyless. All right, so let's take out wait a minute. Yeah, Matic's in there. So let's take out Matic and let's do Gala Games. All right, so there it is. Gala Games, 12.1%. Do you see the point I'm trying to make here? Do you see the point I'm trying to make? Keila says, I picked Matic from you, Siege. It was so cheap and can't remember now. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I mean, we were in that thing at 0.004, 0.005, 0.008. I mean, it was a big win. It was a big win for us, right? But how many of us picked it? How many of us got it? How many of us got it right? And there was another one that you gave me that I did a boatload. Was that Elron Gold? Was that EGLD? Because that's kind of around the time I was doing the EGLD thing. Elron Gold, EGLD, and Matic. Yeah, we were blessed with those. We were blessed with those. I mean, it was a 6-figure percentage gain change, right? But what are we doing when we pick Matic? What are we doing? When we pick it, what are we doing? Are we getting lucky? Or I remember thinking to myself, what project do I like that I could put, because I put $1,000 in, that I can put $1,000 in, and I did it because I had some EGL winnings or EGLD winnings, something that is, less than a penny that could do some stuff. That's how I did it. It's less than a penny. It's an incredible blockchain that can probably do its run, hasn't had its run yet. And I was fortunate enough to pick Matic. You said, no, it was one that Coinbase had. It's on their future assets. Oh, really? Okay, I don't remember. Small Business Doctor says he did do Matic. He did it at, you did it 40350. So you picked it earlier than I picked it. Put $136 in and it became 70K. Yeah. but you got a zero on me. Now I invested more than you did, you know, so I mean, you know, that was a big win. But you got a zero on me because mine was or two zeros, right? Yeah, because mine was zeros, so 008. So I don't know how many zeros that is, 4 there. So I think you had a zero on me. Nice, bro. Nice. Small Business Doctor says, I picked Matic because Celsius was paying the highest APY and didn't care or know what it was at the time. Holy smoke. Right. Good for you, bro. But how often is that going to happen? How many of you guys are noticing in every time frame that I pick, what I do, three different time frames? The one that was first there, then two others, that Bitcoin was still 3 figures. How many noticed that? Right? How many? My only thing I think right now, we talked about the Miles Ducher, we went through that thread. To me, it's the narratives that are winning. We got the meme coin, you got RWAs, you got I think AI is underneath RWAs. I'm not really sure. And when I look at my portfolio, because we picked, you know, 3 to 6 in every narrative that we thought was going to be important. RWA, AI, DSO, I think DPIN, right? And Ethereum, that's right, Kiel. She said you forgot ETH. That's true. Ethereum in every one of the models was triple. Ooh, let me put Ethereum back in here because I took it out. But you're right, Kilos. I believe Ethereum on all of the models, the 3 models we did was triple figures as well. Is that right? Yeah. No, this one here is 92%. It's close. The last model at 31 months, it made it 92%. And by the way, Robert Kiyosaki says he dollar cost averages in he didn't say DCA. He says he buys Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because he said Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's for me, if outside of the DCA strategy and looking to do other altcoins, for me, in the crypto thesis home, they're going to have to be in a narrative that's going on in the digital asset space because people are attracted to the narratives and they're taking their dirty, nasty fiat from outside of the world and coming into those narratives, like meme coins, like real world assets. You can't, right? Because think about Larry Fink getting on stage and doing tours and talking RWAs and tokenization. People going there, right? Think AI. People are kind of going there, right? So that's what we put our portfolio together. We put it around those narratives. Here's the other part. For every DCA strategy that we put in for XRP, it was the highest number was 21%. Not my numbers, those numbers. And this is like the 3rd time we've done it with XRP in that model. It's like the 3rd time. I'm going to share some hope, however. I'm going to listen to David Schwartz, and I'm going to share some hope. But in order to be hopeful, we also got to think about what's happened in the past. So let's see if I can't find that video. Here it is here. Good. Got it. Jungle Links, the title of the video says, David just said it out loud. David Schwartz just said it out loud.
Like in its central role is its privileged place on the X. That's gonna keep So you guys can all see the question on the screen. I think the big thing that's gonna keep XRP like in its central role is its privileged place on the XRP ledger. XRP is the only token that you can pay transaction fees in.
Hold on. I think it's important for us to read that question along with David. So it says, can you elaborate on the key factors? And I want you to listen to David's tonality when he answers this. What is that tonality? What is it? The persona, what is it when he answers the question? Can you elaborate on the key factors and upcoming developments that you believe will drive the value of XRP in the next few years, especially in terms of its utility in cross-border payments and partnerships with financial institutions? This is a big one.
Yeah, so you guys can all see the question on the screen.
Does he sound confident there? It doesn't sound confident to me.
I think the big thing that's gonna keep XRP like in its central role is its privileged place on the XRP ledger. XRP is the only token that you can pay transaction fees in. It's the only token that every account can receive. The payment engine during pathfinding always looks for XRP liquidity first, and XRP is auto-bridged through the order book. So XRP liquidity is sort of preferentially taken over to other types of liquidity just from order crossing. So XRP is always going to have a special place as a sort of liquidity tool on the XRP ledger. In the payment space, I think XRP, because of high speed, low cost, and the sort of lack of things like MEV and block producers who are trying to tax transactions, it's going to remain a good intermediary currency for international payments. Ripple's going to continue to use it for cross-border payments, where it works well. We're not going to make our customers use an inferior solution to make us happy. It's on us to make XRP, be a viable solution. But again, the big thing, I think one of the things probably motivating this is the launch of the stablecoin with the idea that like one will cannibalize the other. I just want to make a point that like the current use for XRP is a tiny fraction of the things that people could be using it for. The market is so early and we can't, it's impossible for us to cannibalize ourselves. It's like if an ecosystem is 1% of what it should be, trying to fight over that 1%, that's not what's going to happen, right? We want to grow the pie, and I think there's lots of room for XRP to grow, and there's lots of room for a stable coin to grow and to be used, in different use cases. There are some use cases where volatility is absolutely fine, and of course, in some use cases like the A&M, where volatility is actually a plus. Mm-hmm.
And there's the pivot.
Listen to the jungle. He says, and there's the pivot. I'm going to let you listen to the rest of it. The most important sentence to me in this, and answering this question, is he says, it's up to us to make XRP more viable in certain situations. It's up to us to make it. We're not going to use XRP because we want people to use XRP. We want to use it where it makes the most sense. It's up to us to make it the most viable option. It's up to us to make it the most viable option. Listen to Jungle explain this here, then I'm going to tell you the good news.
And first and foremost, it's okay. I've been actually harping on this point for a long time. You have XRP, 3 seconds of volatility versus a stable coin that's 3 seconds of counterparty risk, which is really better. When you're using XRP for payments, you have double the currency exchanges. You got to take US dollars, trade into XRP, send your payment, and then go XRP to peso. That's double the currency exchanges, and there's a cost with that. Now, we may minimize that a little bit when we take some of this on chain, but still you have more currency swaps and someone's getting paid on each of those swaps. I think that stable coins for a lot of payments, not all payments, but a lot of payments, the stable coin is going to be the better route. Now, of course, you have counterparty risk. Whoever's holding your collateral can run off with it. But if you're streaming payments, if any payment, you only have 3 seconds of that risk. There's problems. You just stop using that method and you can switch over to XRP even as a backup method. I think this is the way we're going to see things go. And I think David Schwartz is telling us, get ready for that. And a lot of people are going to be upset, but listen, if a stable coin is a better way, a more efficient way to send a payment, if you force people to use XRP to try to build XRP's value, they're just going to use other networks where they use the better way, which is the stable coin. I think it's going to make a lot more sense. What David's trying to say is there's a ton of more applicable use cases for cryptocurrencies, and those things we should grow XRP's use into.
That's exactly what he said. This is what he's saying. He's saying, there's some other stuff we can use XRP. And there's a lot of other stuff. People are going to be upset about it, Jungle says. But it's important to know what you hold, and it's important to know the truth about a startup company. They pivot, they make adjustments. They don't always get it right. They just don't. They don't always get it right. And it's time for other content creators in the XRP community to speak the truths instead of speaking this hopium and other stuff that could happen, could possibly happen, all this other stuff. So I say this, there's a reason. There's a reason why they're doing stuff on the chain and they're going in a particular space. Listen to what Jungle Inc. says about that.
And, there's no reason to fight over these little areas where maybe stable coins will be better. It's a very small part of the total use cases that you could use XRP for. Now, why is this problematic a little bit? Well, you have this great story centered around Ripple, sending XRP instead of flying suitcases of money around. Like, people love stories and things of this nature, and it drives a lot of investment. And I think you're going to see some of those things challenged. Again, I've been talking about this for a long time. Stablecoin's probably the way to go for a lot of these payments, but there still are use cases for pure cryptocurrencies. It's why, even though you have Tether, billions of dollars, it doesn't replace Ethereum. It doesn't replace Bitcoin. And Ripple's stablecoin won't replace XRP's value, but it might replace some of that perceived storyline in people's heads that, XRP is going to, be so much better than flying money around in airplanes and things like this, the regular things we hear all the time. I think you're going to have to, reevaluate things and figure out where XRP's place is in the grand scheme of things. Just my opinion. And I think David Schwartz is kind of dancing around that question a little bit, but I think that's what he's telling us here.
Particularly for cross-border payments, you don't have to hold the asset for very long. So if you're thinking, well, I want to use an asset for cross-border payments, but I don't want to be exposed to its volatility, there are plenty of entities who consider exposure to XRP volatility a net positive, right? Like there are people, like if you wanted to have exposure to any cryptocurrency, whether it was XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you wanted exposure to it, you would generally pay for that exposure. That's why people hold Bitcoin, right? They want exposure to the upside. They pay for that upside. And so if you're worried about exposure to both the upside and the downside in payments, there are any number of parties who will gladly take the upside and the downside, together. So it's not a barrier. Makes sense. I think with that, let's flip.
So anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. Jungle was trying to say, he's trying to comfortably and politely say what we've been saying on the channel for a few months now, right? That they've changed their focus, right? They've changed their focus. And for me, We'll see. But for me, I think it is the right move. 100%. I think it's the right move. And they're going into on-chain institutional DeFi, and they're going into a narrative. First of all, they're gonna get into an industry that's booming, that's stable coins. But they're going into the real world asset narrative. This is where they're going. They're going into the real world asset narrative. Monica Long said, it's just said as much. Talking about earning yield on treasuries or something, or T-bills. They're going into the RWA space. Now that T-bills and all that stuff, that's accredited investors, that's institutions, all that kind of stuff. But they're going into that narrative. Yeah, and that was my thing too, small business doctor. I rolled a lot of my Matic gain back into other stuff, and then I became dependent upon market forces in the digital asset space. Yeah, I didn't do it to the EGLD. We took that and did some stuff, but that's what happened with our kind of Matic gains. So, but in any case, that's for me, that's the hope. That is the hope. But it's hard to argue against the DCA strategy. I put the numbers in, I shared it with you guys. By the way, I'm pretty sure you can go to intothe.cryptoverse.com and you can sign up and you get access to that chart for free. You don't have to pay for the other different charts. Like he's got something called a modern portfolio theory. But I think that's a paid one. That's right. Felix is exactly right. What's going on, Contact Food? Yeah. You have to make adjustments in business. That's right. Right? So the entertaining XRP content creators think that because you speak the truth, or like Ripple is changing their focus, certainly not giving up on the asset XRP, but it's changing its focus to on-chain DeFi into the stablecoin and the RWA space, that somehow that's saying that Ripple is not winning, or that Ripple has lost, or that Ripple is giving up on XRP. It's none of those. It's a startup company. It's a startup company having to have dealt with being sued by the United States government. No matter how much you try to keep your head down and focus, it's kind of hard. $200 million later, personal lawsuits against the heads of the company. That's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. So people are thinking, I'm sure, am I giving up an XRP? Absolutely not. 1000% no way. I'm not selling my XRP. I just recognize the value in DCAing in to things like Bitcoin and Maker and Solana. I just realized the value in that. Because the numbers are the numbers. I'm not making the numbers up. I'm inputting the numbers. I'm inputting the numbers. So if I can go from $5,000 from $100 a month for 50 months to 15,000, don't you take it? Don't you take that? I showed you the chart from Fred Krueger. Again, numbers, charts, to show showing that it is what it is. We put a few altcoins in there. I asked for some other altcoins. And the reason why you pick the time frames before and current, because this is where we're in. We're in this. We're in this now, right? You can pick some historical time frames for reference, but we're in this now. And we got to look at the DCA strategy kind of, if you will, kind of going forward. That's what I did. And that's what I did. And so I hear you hear Gary Cardone says what he says about Bitcoin. Gary Cardone is realizing some of the things that I've realized from reading the Bitcoin Standard, and he said he had 13 principles for why he felt Bitcoin was valuable, right? And so I wrote some down, but I mean, the digital scarcity is also obviously a big deal. Obviously a big deal, but the main thing for me is there's something about the inflation rate over the next 25 years being 27% over the next 25 years. And tell me about the asset, right? That commodity, that physical asset that you can say those numbers, right? Think about the supply growth. The numbers are saying what, just saying what they are. And again, think about that analogy of the teacher. Think about that. What do they call those things? The moral of the story, or whatever they call it, right? Right? That Robert Kiyosaki laid out about his Sunday school teacher. She said, why were the 3 wise men wise? And he said, as a young 9-year-old kid, because they were rich, because they owned gold and frankincense and myrrh. And she said, no, they were wise because they sought the right teachers. And I asked you in kind of my way, tell me about the successful people outside of crypto that came into crypto and fed you video after video after video after video that Bitcoin is technology, doesn't work, that it's not the one, that it's too slow and it's too expensive. Tell me who that person is, and decided to go into altcoins instead. And then to follow up on that, who are the people? Who are your teachers? Who are those people that are telling you that Bitcoin's too slow, that it's not the one, that the only reason why it's doing what it do because it has first mover's advantage? I mean, all this other kind of stuff, right? All this stuff. But the numbers are the numbers. And like my mentor used to say to me all the time, CJ, the numbers tell the whole story. He would ask me, so how many phone calls you make? How many people you talk to today? I'm like, why? Because the numbers tell me the whole story. Because you could tell me anything. What are the numbers? What are the numbers, right? I gave you 3 different people, right? Unless you think you're Raoul Paul. Unless you think you're Raoul Paul, who's just going to pick the right one at the right time, and you got his kind of access. Feels like a DCA strategy is, and Bitcoin is pretty good. You got multimillionaires with millions of dollars in net worth telling you they're buying Bitcoin every single month. And they're not telling you Bitcoin's too slow and it's too expensive and it's not the one. In the end, we're all trying to win. We're all trying to create generational wealth. And we got to have strategies to get there. For me, I knew to leverage this alt season, if we get it, is to be in the narratives, to be in the meme coins. I'm not in a bunch of meme coins. I'm only in 2 meme coins. To be in the narratives, RWAs, AI. We're in 4 or 5 RWAs. We're in 2 or 3 AIs. We did 2 or 3 socials, decentralized socials. Unfortunately, those didn't work. It didn't work out so well, right? Built a portfolio. That's what we did. But we have to have we knew we had to have a strategy. And then we said, look, this DCA thing is, trying to find flaws in it, trying to find some, wouldn't it be better to just add to some other positions with that $100 a month? And it keeps coming up to this DCA strategy is just, I'm not Raoul Paul and I can't pick, and I'm not small business doctors. That's the DCA strategy. I'm not Raoul Paul and I'm not small business doctors either. But every single whatever, I can allocate whatever, change that $100 to $50. I don't know. Change that $100 to $25. I don't know. Change that $100 to $200. I don't know, but the numbers are numbers. When we pick different time frames and different periods, it's just the numbers are the numbers. We're not here to try to have better technology than someone else. I don't think so. I don't think the people who are turning into the Crypto Seizures channel are just trying to walk around and say they have the better technology. Right? We're trying to maintain some wealth, create some wealth, maintain it. All three, they do pretty good at that. Creating wealth, maintaining it. All three of those guys are shared. All four, including Fred Krueger. Why would that dude say, you're just a regular person and, you're not a mathematician like me. You haven't created 10 different businesses with exits in the tens of millions. He said it. I would save in Bitcoin. I would save in Bitcoin. That's what he said. And the numbers don't make him a liar. So we employed the DCA strategy. We deployed capital into alts and particular narratives. And in the end, we're going back to that mantra, Michael Marchese. These altcoins is about getting more Bitcoin. That's us. That's what we're doing. Whether that means exiting out of an altcoin at 65% or exiting out of that altcoin at 95% exit. The goal is more Bitcoin. Now we're gonna do DeFi also, right? We're gonna create cash flow in DeFi. It's significantly important to create cash flow in DeFi so you can get that passive income coming in. Because when you get that passive income coming in from DeFi, right? You get that in, and you can turn that profit, if you will, every month, $10 a day, $100 a day, whatever. You can turn that into, I don't know, maybe you exited 90% of something, and you just made $100, $20, and you want to start your accumulation phase with that $10 you're making every day. I don't know. Maybe you want to, use the DeFi positions that you're in, right? We get to 4 to 5 DeFi positions, all right? We teach you guys how to do that in our Patreon, right? And we can use that cash flow from the DeFi positions to get more big and use that as the DCA strategy. We don't have to use that dirty, nasty fiat, right? So all these different kind of things you can do when you got cash flow coming in every single day. So definitely check us out. I'm going to be sharing that stuff with you guys here in probably a week or so. I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to share my guys with you. I had to make sure it was on point, that I was on point. I'm still learning, but it's working wonderfully. Because the greatest thing about it, it's not dependent upon market forces. It's just another strategy to creating generational wealth. It's a bear market, bull market thing. It's pretty cool. Right? Remember, Ripple's going into institutional what? Institutional DeFi. Don't sleep. My humble opinion, do not fade DeFi thinking because the numbers are down, it's going away. It is not going away. It is not going away. So there it is, fam. My bullish case for Bitcoin over XRP. and other digital assets. So I said I would share my XRP story for sure, but definitely not exiting our position in XRP that we have and that we have left. We were, big time holders for sure. Built up a nice thing, right? For sure. All right, so Yakaze says DCA XRP until the lawsuit is over, then DeFi with XRP. Hey, I hear you, my friend. Did you see my numbers that I shared with DCAing for XRP? So yeah, check it out. You can put the things in yourself for sure. Into the cryptoverse.com. And I believe, let me share it. That chart is available for free. You can put your numbers in. Oh, you didn't see it? Okay. Little bug flying around. Hate that. Let's do this. Yeah, so here it is. Here is into the cryptoverse.com. You just sign up for free, and you can use this, what they call the Bitcoin DCA simulation. You leave Bitcoin there because this is in comparison. You're going to compare the other cryptos to the DCA strategy for Bitcoin. You put a dollar amount in here. You put how you want it to, how often you're going to be purchasing monthly. You pick the day of the month, the first of the month, you're going to make that purchase. Then you pick your little time frames. And I would think, Keyless, I think I've done about 10 simulations online with you guys. And although Bitcoin is not always the top winner, it's always winning. Everyone I've done, it's won, especially if you do it for a significant period of time, 18 months or something longer. So, and I know there is a chart or something that you can find the net for Bitcoin for the next 10 years, for the prior 10 years. And I think that Raoul Paul said that we're currently in the 150% 10-year thing. And then in 2032, I think he said it's going to go down to 40% net, year over year, 40% type deal. But play with this. You go to tools here, and it says DCA strategies, and you can put your stuff in. Maybe you discover something, but I went back as far as 2020 to 2024. I picked different numbers, different things. You can check it out and figure out. Now, this modern portfolio theory, I bet you got to pay for that. Yeah, it says it's in beta. More information about plans. You got to update your membership to get that one. So there that is there. But play around with that. Let me know what you guys think. What you guys think about that. Yeah, definitely catch the repeat so you'll see. Into the cryptoverse.com. You got to get an account. You got to get an account first. We're not paying for Into the Cryptoverse, are we? You see anything coming out every month on that? Yeah. Is it the tools part? No, because we're not paying for it. I believe that's free access. You sign up for an account and then you can use it. But I think you do have to sign up for the account, but it's not under a paid plan. I don't believe it's under a paid plan. Okay. You said, oh, okay, I will sign up. Yeah, I think you have to sign up and then you'll have access to that tools thing there. So of course, they want the email information so they can kind of keep you updated on what they got going on, right? We know all about that. So yeah, there it is, fam. My bullish case for Bitcoin over XRP and other altcoins. Oh, so I did tell you my XRP story. I think I told you that, guys, already. So just so you'll know, just kind of where we were, how we were in it, and all these different kind of things. It was just to share with you, where we were, what our hopes and our aspirations were, and all that different kind of stuff like that, right? I mean, that's what they were. And we had the madness that happened with Celsius. I mean, it is what it is. It happened. And we had to, do some stuff and, I had made a promise that, we would make a certain time frame for different things for investing, and we did that, and it didn't work to the way we wanted to. So we did some lifestyle stuff with XRP as well. So, I mean, we still have, we're still blessed, right? 5 figures of XRP, but we had we had very close to multiple 6 figures, if not multiple 6 figures of XRP, right? And so, but yeah, we're not going to exit it, because I think now, they're moving into the right space. But if we've been in here since 2016, 2017, now it's about, for me, I think, man, we showed our devotion. We showed our commitment to the digital assets, XRP, to the XRPL, to the ecosystem. Now it's time, as Jungle Inc. says, it's time for Ripple to get a win. It's kind of like, isn't it kind of like time for us to get a win as XRP holders? In other words, if for us in the Crypto Sieges home, if you want us to continue to free ourselves of that dirty, nasty fiat into XRP, you guys are going to have to show us. You're going to have to make the stable coin thing work. You're going to have to make the institutional DeFi thing work. You're going to have to make the RWA play work. Because we went out on faith. We went out on faith. Right? We went out on faith. And we DCA'd into XRP 4 figures every single month for about 14 months. So we did that. So it was $1,500 to $2,500 a month, 14 months. So now it's on them now. I'm sharing with you some numbers. I'm sharing you with what our strategy is for altcoins, for sure, but we're definitely DCAing. We're definitely leveraging that strategy as a strategy, because the numbers just prove out. Now, you don't have to pick the 4 that we picked, but the Bitcoin, for me, is just, I can't argue it. And I gotta pay attention to who I'm listening to. I have to pay attention to who the teachers are. All right, fam. So there it is. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Soyo Kaze and Keyless, Alex Wright. I appreciate you checking in, my guy. Contact Fool and Small Business Doctors. Appreciate you. Pookie. Appreciate you checking in today. Corey Anderson. Appreciate you checking in, my friend. Taylor checked in. Appreciate that. My guy GDLT. I appreciate you checking in, bro. GR Travel checked in. I appreciate that. Joe Herdez checked in. I appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate each and every one of you. Listen, I'm going to end this live stream like I do all my live streams and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this, perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.